Well, that is a very big pizza. So that is a good value, even though it used to be $8.99. For one person, that pizza can take up to 3 sittings, so hey, that's not bad. Alright, so this was a request from last night, and I don't follow MLB as closely as many of you, but I'll do my best. So we'll start with the American League, and we have first off the Mariners playing the Blue Jays, and this is a pretty even series as I'm looking at it. Both of the teams finished the season pretty well. I think they both finished like 7-3 down the stretch, and I've heard things throughout the year about the Blue Jays and how their pitching is bad, and I don't think it's really that bad looking at it. Looking at the statistics and everything, and if you compare it to the Seattle Mariners, it's almost even, if not a little bit better. Blue Jays have a little better lineup, but yeah, Seattle's good too. I look at the Blue Jays closer is better than the Mariners one, so quite better. So that will be the difference. Blue Jays win. I'm going to give you the teams I think are going to win, plus the teams I want to win. So, Blue Jays, I think, win that one. Is that a Shock team? I don't think so. I don't think we have any fans of that. And I'm going to root for Toronto just because my nephew is a big Blue Jays fan. So they would end up playing Houston's if they win that series in the divisional round, Houston's. So, but either way that series winds up, it looks like a favorable matchup in the ALDS for Houston's. In the second wild card series in the American League, we have the Tampa Bay Rays going up against John Boy's Guards. Now, I think there's a couple more fans of that team. Eli is another one. Maybe there's a female, I think. Sorry if I forgot you, but it looks like... Now that one I'm rooting for the Guardians because I've never been a fan of the Rays. I do not like the Rays. Division rival, but it looks like Guardians are a more polished team. They're gonna win this series, so they will advance to play Stamos and Big Buell and Peters Yankees. That will be one hell of a matchup, especially for Wire Club to have those two teams going at it. They seem to be running into each other in October of the last 15 years, don't they? Starting with the infamous Jabba Chamberlain Nat Fest series back in 2007. So in the National League, we have in the first series, it's going to be the Mets and the Padres in that series. So big series there for free jack balls, and Senior Met, Mr. Met, was the one who asked me to do these picks. I hope he gives his picks tonight. And I'm rooting for the Mets because it's just great for Wire Club. And who cares about the Padres? And I'm going to pick the Mets to win this series. Now, the goal of this series for the Mets, for Showalter, is to first to win the series. Now, the second goal is to have DeGrom and Scherzer pitch 6-inning games, if not 5-inning games, where the offense gets a lot of runs, get some runs, which would be best case scenario for the Mets. But this is what Caros talked about a couple of months back and why the Mets needed the division more than the Braves because of this situation. Those two arms are a little older. So They don't want to burn them out in the wild card. And this was the bad thing about getting swept and gagging in that series against the Braves over the weekend. That really screwed them, but it's over. They just got to do the best with what they got and make the most out of the series and overcome it. So, and the best way to do that is to get some short outings from those two pitchers. Hopefully close it out with, in 2 games and move on. And if they win that, they will move on to play the Dodgers. Yes, the Dodgers. So, pretty sure about that. Yep, the Los Angeles Dodgers. So that would be awesome. So you'd have a lot of smack talk going on if that happens with Free Jack, Mr. Mets, and Bolts. And that ALDS. All right, last but not least, we have in Taylor's Cardinals versus the Major Mal's Philadelphia Phillies. So, rooting for the Cardinals, because if you're not rooting for the Cardinals to go far in this postseason, you have a serious problem with yourself. And I'm going to take, well, let's talk about, so if the Cardinals win, they would end up playing the Braves, and that would be funny to all we'd hear from Andy is how he's rooting for the Braves, but he wouldn't mind seeing the the Cardinals win because he's kind of on the bandwagon with that team, like a lot of people are. So now in this series, Philadelphia has an edge pitching wise, so at least for the first 2 pitchers. So that doesn't look very good because I'm rooting for the Cardinals. Obviously, I'm not, pretty much because of obvious reasons, but also because the Phillies, any Philadelphia sports, are just no thanks, not against. So all right, good, and so. But I see like an edge in the starting pitching, which concerns me a little bit. So I'm going to take the Philadelphia Phillies. Plus, they're kind of under the radar. They're really, it's a house money kind of situation. They're not going to be intimidated going to St. Louis, but I'm going to take the Phillies to win this. So that's not good, but I guess the silver lining would be we may see a return of Major Malfunction. He's a well, not a beloved chatter exactly, but an important chatter, and he definitely helps ratings. What the hell is this? All right. And forgive me and this shows how out of the loop I am with the fairly new format of MLB postseason, but is the seedings like number 1 plays the lowest seed, or is it just a straight bracket? Because if it's lowest seed, Philadelphia, if it's highest plays lowest, then Philadelphia is 6, so that means that Philadelphia would go up and play the Los Angeles Dodgers, and in the NLDS, which is a 70s NLCS rematch. I think they met a couple times back then. And but if it's just straight seedings, then you would have the Mets. Let me think about this. Yeah, so if it's straight seedings, then you would have Phillies Braves, which is a NL East rivalry meeting head to head, and you would have the Mets, the New York Mets, taking on the Dodgers. So, but I'm not sure how that would work. If you had other way, you'd have the Mets versus the Mets versus Braves with the if it's high seed, lowest seed, Mets Braves, which would be awesome because you'd have a two teams that just met, the division rivals, Andy, and then Free Jack and Mr. Met. Plus, it would be a nice rematch of the '69 NLCS, the first ever NLCS, where the Mets beat Hank Aaron's Braves that year. Went on to win the World Series. The Royals, Orioles. So those are my picks. We have Buell Jays. We have the Guards. We have the Mets. And we have the Phillies as my picks to win the wild cards. Too many games, I think. Too much going on there. They should just keep it with division winners. But the great thing about having all these teams in there is that you have so many teams representing people, friends from our home of Wire Club. So, all right, guys, enjoy. Hope some of you will release your picks, and when it gets to the division series, I will maybe do my picks for those series, those 4 series, but it starts tomorrow. Should be a nice slew of games, a lot of excitement on Wire Club, a lot of smack talk, so hope you guys enjoy that. And don't forget today, 2:55 sharp, afternoon trivia. And for the first time in a week in its history, nothing but Buell skies. Humidity is picking up. There is a heat, a deep heat starting to settle in. It's the morning. It's only the morning. Feels like about 75 to 80 degrees almost, even though it probably isn't. Hell of a real feel. Looking pretty good. What lies over the horizon? I don't know. But stay tuned.